I'm just kidding. Let me do this right. I'm sorry about that, everybody. Let's go back to the square one. You're listening to 6 minutes and 66 seconds with me, your host, Michael Arnzen. Welcome to the special, almost Christmas edition of my podcast. Happy to be here with you, and thanks for continued listening. I'm going to do today's episode off the cuff and keep it perhaps even shorter than 6 minutes, but I promise you 6 minutes and 66 seconds, which, as I've said before, is about as much Arnzen as anyone can really stand to take. What I planned for today's episode is to talk a little bit about Christmas season and read you a short story. I hate this time of year, and let me tell you why. It's not because I am inherently anti-religion or happiness or anything like that. It's that everybody in the world crawls out of their place of living, their domicile, to go shopping for each other, or to go to celebrations with each other, or to go to places like crowded movie theaters and malls with each other. And the traffic is so damn annoying that, I mean, I've already witnessed a car accident. I've been cut off 3 times, and I don't live in a major metropolitan area, okay? I live like maybe 20 minutes outside of Pittsburgh, which is a major, I think, a metropolitan area, especially around the Squirrel Hill Tunnel. But anyway, this got me thinking that I should, next time I do a podcast, I should share my short story called People Repellent, because it's this time of year where I wish I could actually buy a spray can filled with people repellent. But I didn't have that in mind when I wrote this short, which I'm going to read to you from my short story collection, which won a Bram Stoker Award for, superior achievement in a fiction collection, called Proverbs for Monsters. This came out, I think, around 2007. I'm not entirely sure. I could look on the copyright page, but I just turned to the story, which I'm going to read to you, called People Repellent. He found the bottle of People Repellent at a health food store. The package was right next to the all-natural bug sprays and fly papers and anti-mosquito incense. It cost a whopping $24, emblazoned with a stick figure logo that raised a scrawny arm in a talk-to-the-hand gesture. He thought it would make a funny gift for his girlfriend, who always complained about the people in her office, so he blew what was left in his wallet for the novelty spray, along with his usual assortment of herbal extract supplements and offbeat teas. At home, he started wrapping up the gift. He chuckled at the logo on the bottle again, but then found himself questioning his choice. Maybe she would read between the lines and accuse him of calling her antisocial. Or maybe she'd assume that all the gifts in their relationship from that point forward would be juvenile pranks like this one. She might conjure an image of a fake doggy do in her Christmas stocking, or a squirt ring surprise during their marriage ceremony, and then quickly remove him from her speed dial. He didn't want to repel his own girlfriend after all, so he grabbed the bottle and opened the lid of the trash can. Then something liquid sloshed inside the vial. He shook it, wondered what it really was, took a whiff of the sprayer. And it smelled fantastic, like flowers fountaining inside of other flowers, but it was still musky enough to be called cologne. He decided to try it out. He sprayed people repellent on his neck, then his arms, then his chest, and then inside the waistband of his jeans, spritzing copiously until he was sure he could keep inhaling it like a floral cloud descended from heaven, floating around his body. Immediately, a number of houseflies stirred inside his trash can and zoomed up from the refuse to glom onto his flesh. More flying nits zipped across his house and landed on his skin, fizzling in the still wet sheen of people repellent on the back of his neck and on his arms. Mosquitoes followed, whining around his ears before dipping their beaks into their newfound nirvana. They all itched. He was surprised by just how many flying insects were living in his house, but he also understood what was happening with perfect clarity. He went outside and walked slowly down the sidewalk, heading towards his girlfriend's house just a few blocks away. 1,000 more insects joined their brethren on his flesh. His body became a living block party for the local gnats. Moths landed on his eyelids. Honeybees buzzed and nuzzled into his beltline. And people very quickly got out of his way. At her doorstep, he lifted his living coat of writhing wrigglers and rang her doorbell, waiting to see what kind of person she'd turn out to be. Beneath a mitten of mites, he still clutched the spray bottle in his free hand, which he held behind his back like a lover's bouquet. People repellent, don't you wish you had some? Bugs and all. Well, that does it for another episode of 6 minutes and 66 seconds. I don't mean to repel you. Go forth. Have a happy holiday, everybody. I'll try to get up a Christmas edition next and maybe take a break over the new year. For now, have a good time, everybody, and stay safe in traffic.